let's do a little bit more work on surface area of cylinders. Okay, so if you remember last time, we talked about if I want to work out the area all the way around this solid, we've got two circles, and then we've got this curved part just here. So I'm gonna put some dimensions on here. So I'm gonna say we've got a radius here. We're gonna need to know that. So I'm gonna say that r is equal to, let's say, 6 centimeters, and we need to know this length here, or the height if you prefer. So let's say that there is let's say 14 centimeters. Right, okay, so let's have a little look and then think about what we need to do. So let's think about the circles first of all. So one circle is pi r squared, pi r squared. So that's going to be, so r is 6, so one circle is pi times 6 squared. 6 squared is 36, so we might just write 36 pi. Again, if we want to work that out on our calculator, we can do. Some questions will ask you to leave an exact answer. If it says leave an exact answer, then that's what you do, just there. If it says 1 or 2 decimal places, then we just do 36 times pi. Now I'm going to make life easier for myself just for a minute, so I'm just going to leave it as 36 pi. Don't have to change it straight away. So we've got two circles, so we're going to multiply that by 2. So therefore the area of both circles, there you look, being a bit lazy, just draw a circle instead. So both circles is equal to 72 pi. So that's 36 times 2, that bit just there, right? Because that's the area of one circle, so that's the area of two circles there. Right, now we got the curved part. Remember, we've got the curved part, right? So we've worked out the area of the two circles. Now we need to do the curved part. So the curved part, remember, when it's undone, is it will give you a rectangle, okay? And we're going to undo that. So let's quickly, if you just draw yourself a rectangle, just quick sketch, it will just make it a little bit easier for us to do. So what are the dimensions of that? Well, one of the dimensions is 14, and then the other one, remember, is, if I'm thinking about this length here, that's the circumference of the circle. So the circumference of a circle is pi times the diameter. Yeah, let's just write that down at the side. Pi times the diameter. So when we try and do this, we're going to have, so the diameter, if I look at my circle up here, was 6 centimeters. So the radius is 6, so therefore the diameter is 12. So this is 12 pi, just there. And then to work out the area here, so this is, again, work it out if you want to, right? Actually do 12 times pi if you prefer, and then multiply this by 14. So 12 pi times 14. So again, let's use your calculator if you want to. So 12 times pi times 14. Now your calculator will actually give you the answer of 168 pi to start with, because it's suggesting that that's just a better way of writing your answer down. So that's the area of the curved part. Alright, so that's 14 times the circumference of the circle. That's the area of both circles. So the total surface area are just these two added together. So 168 plus 72, and that's going to give us 240. It's not 240, it's 240 pi. And that's centimeters, it's an area, so it's centimeters squared. If you want it as a decimal, if the question says write it as 2 decimals, here we go. Just do 240 pi button. Press equals. Again, it still wants us to write down 240 pi, but if you just press that SD button, it will give us an answer. So that's 753.98 to 2 decimal places. So if we prefer, we've got that there. Now, when you get on to doing some of these questions, if you get a little bit stuck, just come back to this here, just work it through again. You know, kind of pause it at the beginning and see if you can work it through and understand what's going on. So what might be a good idea is to pause it now. Well, not quite now because I haven't put some numbers on. This time I'm going to tell you the diameter of this one here. So if I tell you the diameter is, let's say, let's go with 16 centimeters, and we'll say that there is going to be 7 centimeters. Okay, so now would be a good time to sort of pause it, see how you get on, and then try and come back in just a few seconds time. All right, so I'm going to carry on. So I need to know, so I've told you this time, the only real difference of the question is that I've told you the diameter and I haven't told you the radius. So what's always a good idea is just to write down, right, D equals that, and R equals, so remember the radius is half the diameter. Remember on the first question, I told you the radius, and then we needed to know what the diameter was for when we did this bit down here. So over here, so the radius would be 8 centimeters. So I'm going to do exactly the same thing. So remember, the area of a circle is pi r squared. The circumference of the circle, that's pi times the diameter. So pi times 8 squared. So that's 64 pi. Remember, we've got 2 circles. Okay, so we're going to times 2, and that gives us both circles. So if I multiply that by 2, that's 128 pi, just there. All right. Now think about the curved part. Okay. Now it just makes it easier if you draw yourself a very quick sketch of the rectangle. All right. So we know one of the dimensions. One of the dimensions is 7. It doesn't matter whether that's the longest or the shortest. Doesn't really make any difference. Right, it's just a rectangle. You're just going to do that times that. Now we're going to think about this one. Now remember, this is the circumference of the circle. The circumference of a circle is just pi times the diameter. So the diameter is 16 on this circle. So it's just going to be 16 pi. So to work out the area in here, it'd just be 16 pi multiplied by 7. So you can just do, if you want to, just go 16 pi times 7, and it equals, again, it doesn't really want to give it as a decimal. That's absolutely fine to do that. Okay, we've got that there. So now, if we just add these two together, so that's going to give me 240 pi. That's the same. Whoa, I wasn't expecting that. I did genuinely just make these numbers up. That is just a coincidence. But it is a bit weird. So 230, 240. Sorry, I'm just double checking, make sure I didn't make a mistake, but I haven't. So therefore, the answer to that is exactly the same. Okay, there we go. Right then, so you can have a go at doing a few questions. There's a challenge question at the end, and I'll do a separate solution for that, just so you can have a little look at that, and you know, have a go at the question first, and then if you need it, come back and look at the challenge question. Okay, so go and have a go, try and do a few questions.